Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Charles. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. So today we have an interesting episode for you guys. We want you guys to stick around for us, so make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, as y'all know, a few months ago, there was a very public spat between Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless. They had a very public disagreement. And the disagreement was centered on the success of ESPN First Take. As some of you may remember, Skip Bayless was originally the big wig on that show. And before that, it was called Cold Pizza. And when it was Cold Pizza, is essentially what it is now. ESPN First Take is now. Like Skip Bayless was a staple. And then you had this kind of rotating cast that would come on every single day, right? And Stephen A. Smith was one of those guys. You had Rob Parker, you had Chris Broussard, you had Woody Page at a certain point. You had different people that used to come on the show. Jamel Hill, if I'm not mistaken, she was on there. Jalen Rose from time to time. So Skip Bayless was really the guy, controlling that show, and then ultimately Stephen A. Smith came on, and that's it. But essentially, what happened between Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith was this. Stephen A. Smith says Skip Bayless reached out to him because he felt like he couldn't take the show any further, right? He couldn't take it to the next level. And basically, he needed Stephen A. Smith to aid him and help him or save him and take him to the next level. And the moment Skip Bayless heard that, he basically called out Stephen A. Smith for essentially lying and saying, hey, wait a minute, bro, you just made this up. That's not how that played out. You just made all of that up, and I'm going to call cap on all of that, right? So good, we remember that. So during the weekend, I believe Stephen A. Smith had a sit down on the I Am Athlete podcast, and he was asked to give his take on how Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith got their start together. Although we've heard this before, these guys asked him again, maybe just to see if he's going to say something different, or is he going to switch up, or is it going to, if it's going to coincide with what Skip Bayless had to say. So what we want to do is we want to play what Stephen A. Smith's response was, and then we're going to come back and react to it. So take a listen to that, and we'll come back and react to it.
O'clock at night. And that's when I knew. And that's when I knew that if we were ever together, we were going to blow up. Because I said, you can't make this up. Because I'll never agree with anything he says. I'll never agree with him. I'm like, you got to be crazy. But he meant it.
So two things.
Yeah.
What you just said, that's when you knew. So tell the story of how it became. That's one. And two. How it became.
You and Skip come together.
How did y'all come together? How did that work? And then also, do you miss him?
Well, first of all,
that's the whole.
To answer the second question, I'm always miss my man. Because for the purposes of a debate show, oh my Lord, he's a godsend. Because I'll never agree with him.
Right.
I walk in every day knowing we're going to disagree.
Right.
For a debate show? Oh, it don't get no better than Skip.
So why
it don't
y'all
get no
break
better than
up
Skip,
then?
right?
Why y'all break up?
Well, money. I mean, Fox came and offered them a boatload of money.
Why didn't ESPN step up? That because me and you was talking about that. Exactly what you said.
Because ESPN felt they didn't have to for whatever reason. But to answer your first question, to answer your first question,
You see who's still there.
No, I'm not saying nothing like that. They just listen. Worldwide leader, they worldwide leader for a reason. They know how to spend judiciously. Trust me. Trust me. I should get more money. I'm unapologetic about that. Hell, I'm still underpaid.
Yeah, okay.
Let's be clear. They ain't giving away money like that.
So how that work? So how does that work? How does negotiation work? Y'all want to be in our business?
Hold on.
All right,
let's hear the him and Skip thing first.
Skip comes to me in 2012. The show is doing well because he's riding that Tebow thing. He feels passionate because he's a huge Tebow fan.
Yeah, he is.
And the show was doing well, but Skip is a competitor and he wasn't satisfied. And so Skip is like, listen, this story is fine, but I need you because you're the only one I trust. Because we went back. We've known each other previously for a decade earlier. He said, you're the only one that I trust to do this every day with me. And I need you. And he knew that I wasn't too keen on doing it initially.
Right.
I was really stuck on the NBA. I love my basketball and I hate getting up early. And he was like, he said, let's just do this for 3 years. And he was doing well, but he said he needed me because he needed somebody that was there with him every day who he could trust. And so he said, I think we're gonna knock it out the park. And he said, there's nobody like us. And that's how it happened.
So if you talking about when you guys left out.
So you heard what Stephen A. Smith had to say there. First of all, let me say this. The original comments that Stephen A. Smith made some months back that got Skip Bayless up in arms and caused him to respond on the Skip Bayless show to Stephen A. Smith, those original comments were totally different from what he just said here. In those original comments, he was basically saying like Skip needed me to come and save the day. And that's essentially what I did. In that particular soundbite, that is not what happened. You saw he took a much more gracious, humble position to the, to the thing. And he basically said, that Skip Bayless is a competitive guy and he wanted to take things to the next level. That's not what he said the first time. So that's that's the first part. The second part is this. I think that Stephen A. Smith, if he's being honest, he knows that show was really, even though the numbers are still there, and they still get, high ratings, they're still doing very well. I think we all know that the secret sauce was him and Skip Bayless, right? I think anybody that watched that show for years, which I'm sure the majority of our audience did, I think all of us can agree that when Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith were going back and forth on that show, that's when it was at its zenith. That's when the show was at its height. That's when it was most entertaining. If I'm going to be honest with you, I think that's when, they were firing on all cylinders. So really, the question is this: based on the fallout that Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless had, that public spat that they had, that I alluded to previously, do you think that Stephen A. Smith is telling the full truth, like giving the real picture of how things really played out? Or do you think that he maybe omitted something and maybe Skip Bayless may get a whiff of some of these new comments that he had to say on I Am Athlete and may possibly take some exception to it? Or do you think Skip Bayless will hear it and say, hey, no, I think Stephen A. Smith got it right after the conversation that him and I had, because him and Skip Bayless did have a conversation and Skip Bayless addressed it, that they had a conversation. I think Stephen A. Smith came over to Skip Bayless's house. They talked about it and they said that they're in a better place. So the question to you guys is, do you think Stephen A. Smith told the exact story of how it played out? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Once again, this is Charles here from Dreamerspro. Wishing you guys an amazing day and catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.